You may have heard people talk about bone broth as if it is a miracle food for strength and recovery. It's comforting, it's warm, it's been around for centuries, and many believe it can rebuild the body from the inside out. But let me share something with you that may surprise you. When it comes to protecting your muscles, especially after the age of 60, bone broth is not the miracle you've been led to believe. In fact, relying on bone broth to save your muscles from sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength, can leave you vulnerable. Why? Because while bone broth has some benefits, it is actually very low in protein compared to what your body truly needs to build and repair muscle. And protein is the single most important nutrient to fight sarcopenia. So today, I want to reveal a food that outperforms bone broth dramatically, a food that science shows can not only build muscle, but also protect it from shrinking as you age. A food that is simple, natural, affordable, and delicious. And unlike bone broth, which is more about comfort than substance, this food directly fuels your muscle fibers with the amino acids they require. And here's the best part. It's not exotic. You don't need to spend hours simmering bones in your kitchen or buying expensive pre-made jars. The real solution is already at your fingertips. Now, let's talk about sarcopenia for a moment, because this is a silent thief of independence. After the age of 60, we begin to lose about 1% of our muscle mass every year. By 70, that number can accelerate, leaving many people weaker, slower, and more prone to falls and fractures. Sarcopenia is not just about vanity or appearance, it is about survival. Strong muscles protect your balance. They allow you to rise from a chair without help. They power your heart and lungs. They even protect your brain. Muscle is not just tissue, it is a vital organ of longevity. But here is the good news. Sarcopenia is not inevitable, and food is one of the most powerful tools to fight it. The key is eating protein-rich foods that deliver the essential amino acids your muscles need every single day. And when I say protein, I don't mean bone broth. Because despite its reputation, bone broth typically contains only 6 to 9 grams of protein per cup. That's barely enough to scratch the surface of your daily needs. If you're over 60, your muscles require 20 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at each meal just to stimulate growth and repair, which means if you rely on bone broth, you would need to drink an entire pot just to get close to what you need. So what's the alternative? The food I want to spotlight today is lentils. That's right. Lentils, those humble little legumes you may have overlooked. Lentils deliver nearly 18 grams of protein per cup, along with fiber, minerals, and antioxidants that bone broth simply cannot match. They are one of the most efficient, muscle-protecting foods in the world. And unlike bone broth, lentils don't just give you amino acids. They also stabilize your blood sugar, feed your gut microbiome, and reduce chronic inflammation, which silently damages your muscles over time. Think about this. Bone broth is mostly liquid. It fills your stomach but doesn't truly feed your muscles. Lentils, on the other hand, are a complete meal. They give you not just protein but also iron to carry oxygen to your muscles, magnesium to help your muscles contract and relax, and potassium to protect your circulation. This combination is exactly what your body craves as you get older. It is no wonder populations around the world who eat legumes like lentils regularly show lower rates of frailty and live longer, healthier lives. And here's something fascinating. Recent studies have shown that people who replace even one serving of meat with legumes like lentils can reduce their risk of death from chronic disease by up to 12%. That's not because meat is bad, but because legumes add something extra, nutrients and fibers that support your entire body while still delivering the protein your muscles crave. So if you're over 60 and worried about muscle loss, forget bone broth. It's soothing, yes, it's nostalgic, yes, but it is not enough. Your muscles need more, and lentils provide it. Imagine sitting down to a hearty bowl of lentil soup, or adding them to a salad, or making them into a simple side dish. Each bite is not just filling your stomach, it's fueling your strength, preserving your independence, and protecting your future. Now, let us peel back the curtain on why lentils and other protein-rich plant foods are so powerful for fighting sarcopenia, while bone broth falls short. To understand this, we need to zoom in on the very building blocks of your muscles, tiny fibers that act like ropes woven together. Each fiber relies on amino acids, the little molecules that come from the protein in your diet. Without a steady supply of amino acids, those fibers fray, weaken, and shrink. That's sarcopenia in action. Bone broth, while soothing, is thin on amino acids. It does contain some collagen fragments, but here's the truth. Collagen is not what your muscles are hungry for. Collagen helps your skin and joints, yes, but muscle needs leucine, isoleucine, and valine, branched-chain amino acids that act like switches, turning on muscle repair at the cellular level. Bone broth offers very little of these. Lentils, on the other hand, are packed with them. And that is the game changer. Let me paint a picture. Imagine two people the same age, let's say 70. One of them drinks a warm mug of bone broth at lunch every day, believing it will keep them strong. The other eats a hearty lentil stew, seasoned with garlic, onion, and a drizzle of olive oil. Fast forward a few months. The first person notices they're slower getting out of chairs, needing the handrail for stairs, feeling weaker. The second person, they're walking faster, carrying groceries without strain, and their doctor is impressed at how well they're maintaining muscle mass. Same age, different choice, radically different outcomes. That's the power of food. But it doesn't stop at muscle. Lentils also guard your blood vessels, which is critical because healthy circulation delivers oxygen and nutrients to every cell in your muscles. Think of your blood vessels as highways. If they're clogged or inflamed, traffic slows and your muscles starve. Lentils' fiber and antioxidants sweep those highways clean, keeping the flow strong. Bone broth, by contrast, has no fiber, no significant antioxidants, and often contains high sodium, which can strain your blood pressure and damage circulation over time. Here's another hidden benefit of lentils. They feed your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria inside your intestines. You may not think your gut has anything to do with muscle, but it does. When your microbiome thrives, it produces compounds called short-chain fatty acids. These tiny molecules travel through your bloodstream to your muscles, telling them to grow stronger, more resilient, and less inflamed. Bone broth? It doesn't feed your microbiome, it passes through with little impact. So while bone broth is like a warm blanket for your stomach, lentils are like a full workout for your gut, creating ripples of health that reach every corner of your body. And here's something astonishing. A study from the University of Sydney looked at older adults who regularly consumed legumes, including lentils, and tracked them for years. They found those who ate legumes at least 3 times a week lived significantly longer, had fewer hospitalizations, and were stronger in their daily activities. That means every bowl of lentils is not just nourishing you in the moment, it is extending your health span, the number of years you live independently, without frailty. Now, I want you to picture this. Imagine waking up in the morning, stretching, and feeling steady on your feet. You walk to the kitchen, not reaching for the pain in your knees or lower back, but moving smoothly and confidently. Later in the day, you decide to climb a flight of stairs. You place one foot on the step and rise without pulling on the railing. That stability, that strength, it's not luck. It's not genetics. It's a direct result of what you've been feeding your muscles. And this brings us to an important point. Sarcopenia doesn't announce itself suddenly. It creeps in. First, you notice the bag of groceries feels heavier than usual. Then, the stairs leave you more winded than they used to. Then you're surprised at how difficult it is to open a jar or rise from a low chair. This slow decline can feel inevitable, but it's not. Food choices made today can change that trajectory tomorrow. Bone broth keeps you comfortable. Lentils and legumes keep you strong. But here's a twist you may not expect. Even though lentils are powerful, the way you combine them with other foods can amplify their benefits even more. For example, pairing lentils with whole grains like rice or quinoa creates a complete protein, meaning you get all 9 essential amino acids in the right balance. That's the equivalent of eating a steak, without the saturated fat or cholesterol. Add a squeeze of lemon juice and you boost the iron absorption, making sure your muscles get the oxygen they need to perform. Toss in some leafy greens and you add magnesium and vitamin K to support muscle contraction and bone strength. Suddenly, your plate has become a muscle-building powerhouse that bone broth could never match. Now, let's tackle a question I know some of you are asking. What about convenience? Isn't bone broth easier? Just pour, heat and drink? That's true. But lentils are just as simple. You can buy them canned, already cooked. Rinse them, toss them in a salad, heat them in a soup, or blend them into a dip. It takes less than 5 minutes and the payoff is exponentially greater. Convenience should never mean compromise. And let's address the taste. Some people imagine lentils as bland or boring, but here's the secret. Lentils absorb flavors like a sponge. Add spices, cumin, turmeric, garlic, herbs, and they transform into something deeply satisfying. Bone broth may comfort you for a moment, but lentils satisfy you for hours, keeping your blood sugar steady and your energy stable. So, here is the real message. Forget bone broth. It has its place as comfort food, but it is not your muscle-saving hero. The real hero is a humble, affordable food that has nourished civilizations for centuries and is now backed by modern science, lentils. And by putting them on your plate, you are not just eating, you are protecting your independence, your strength, and your future. Let us talk about something most people don't even realize is happening inside their bodies, the inflammation trap. This is one of the most dangerous drivers of muscle loss, and it's also one of the least obvious. You see, inflammation is not always bad. When you scrape your knee or catch a cold, your immune system creates inflammation to heal the injury or fight the infection. That's good inflammation. It's sharp, it's short, and it resolves once the healing is done. But as we age, a different kind of inflammation can creep into our bodies. Doctors call it chronic low-grade inflammation. I call it silent fire. Silent fire doesn't cause obvious pain or swelling. Instead, it quietly smolders inside your blood vessels, your joints, and yes, your muscles. Over months and years, this silent fire begins to damage muscle fibers, making them weaker, more prone to breakdown, and less responsive to protein. Imagine a rope left in the sun and wind, fraying slowly, strand by strand, until it loses its strength. That's what inflammation does to your muscles over time. Now here's the shocking part. Certain foods can fuel this silent fire, while others can put it out. Bone broth, while not harmful in itself, does nothing to stop the inflammation. It's neutral at best, but other common foods like refined sugars, processed meats, and even excessive white bread or pasta can actually pour gasoline on that fire. These foods spike your blood sugar, damage your blood vessels, and create advanced glycation end products, which act like sandpaper scraping away at your tissues. When this happens, your muscles lose the ability to regenerate properly, no matter how much protein you consume. That's the inflammation trap. But here's the way out of the trap. Lentils and other legumes. They contain powerful anti-inflammatory compounds like polyphenols, which act like natural fire extinguishers. Lentils also release fiber into your gut, which your healthy bacteria ferment into short-chain fatty acids. These fatty acids travel throughout your body, calming inflammation, lowering oxidative stress, and protecting your muscles from that silent fire. This is something bone broth can never do. Let me give you a picture. Imagine two fires burning. One is visible, bright flames, obvious, dangerous, you know to stay away. No. The other is hidden, smoldering inside the walls of your home, invisible but slowly weakening the structure. Which one is more dangerous? The hidden one. That's what chronic inflammation is like for your body. And every forkful of lentils is like sending in firefighters to put out those hidden flames before they cause lasting damage. Now, here's another benefit of lentils that directly ties into inflammation: their magnesium content. Magnesium is a mineral that acts like nature's muscle relaxer. It lowers stress hormones, calms your nervous system, and reduces muscle tension. But even more importantly, magnesium plays a direct role in controlling inflammation by regulating your immune system. Studies show that people with higher magnesium intake have lower levels of C-reactive protein, one of the most reliable markers of chronic inflammation. Bone broth sadly provides very little magnesium, but lentils are one of the richest plant-based sources, so every bite works double duty, feeding your muscles with protein while calming inflammation at the same time. And let's not forget antioxidants. Lentils are loaded with them. These compounds neutralize free radicals, unstable molecules that attack muscle cells like tiny wrecking balls. Free radicals are one of the hidden culprits behind aging and sarcopenia. They damage your mitochondria, the little power plants inside your muscles that give you energy. Without strong mitochondria, your muscles feel weak, heavy, and slow. Lentils deliver antioxidants that protect those mitochondria, allowing your muscles to keep burning fuel efficiently. Bone broth? No meaningful antioxidants. It's comfort food, yes. Protective food? No. Here's something fascinating. In a large study of older adults, researchers measured inflammation markers in the blood and tracked who developed sarcopenia over the years. They found those with the highest inflammation were nearly twice as likely to lose muscle mass and strength, but the ones who consumed more legumes, fruits, and vegetables had significantly lower inflammation and stronger muscles, even into their 80s. That means your diet is not just filling your stomach, it is writing the future of your mobility and independence. Now imagine this in your own life. Picture yourself holding your grandchild's hand, walking across the park, feeling steady and strong. Imagine playing a game of catch without fear of stumbling. Imagine carrying a basket of laundry upstairs without gripping the railing for dear life. These are not luxuries, they're basic freedoms, and they are preserved not by bone broth simmering in a pot, but by simple, science-backed foods like lentils that fight the silent fire in your body and keep your muscles alive. So here's the turning point. Bone broth gives you warmth. Lentils give you strength. Bone broth comforts you for a moment. Lentils protect you for a lifetime. And when it comes to fighting sarcopenia, strength wins every time. We've talked about protein, amino acids, and inflammation. But there's another piece of the puzzle most people overlook: circulation and mitochondria. And without them, even the best protein in the world won't save your muscles. Let's start with circulation. Your muscles are living tissue. They don't just sit there. They constantly demand oxygen, nutrients, and amino acids to repair and grow. Imagine your circulation like a vast highway system. Every heartbeat sends cars, oxygen molecules, amino acids, glucose, racing down those highways toward your muscle fibers. When those highways are clear, everything flows smoothly, but when they're clogged with inflammation, high cholesterol, or stiffened by high blood pressure, the traffic slows down. Fewer nutrients reach your muscles, and they begin to shrink and weaken. This is one of the reasons sarcopenia accelerates with age. Not because the muscles don't want to grow, but because the highways delivering fuel to them are damaged. Bone broth doesn't do anything for your circulation. But lentils? They are one of the most powerful circulation protectors in nature. Here's why. Lentils are packed with potassium, which relaxes the walls of your blood vessels, lowering blood pressure and improving flow. They are loaded with fiber, which sweeps cholesterol out of your arteries, keeping those highways clear. And they contain antioxidants that prevent blood vessel damage in the first place. Every bowl of lentils is like a road crew repairing the highways your muscles depend on. Without circulation, your muscles starve. With circulation, they thrive. Now, let's zoom in even closer, to the cellular level, where the real magic happens. Inside every muscle fiber are tiny energy factories called mitochondria. They take the oxygen and nutrients delivered by your circulation and convert them into ATP, the fuel that powers every step you take, every time you lift a bag of groceries, every time you rise from a chair. Without healthy mitochondria, your muscles feel weak, heavy, and tired. And here's the shocking truth: mitochondrial function declines as we age. Think of a car engine that used to run smoothly, but now sputters and stalls. That's what happens inside aging muscles. Bone broth doesn't protect mitochondria, but lentils do. They're rich in compounds like polyphenols and magnesium, which protect mitochondria from oxidative stress. They also provide steady, slow-burning carbohydrates that fuel mitochondria without spiking your blood sugar. That means your energy is stable, your muscles keep working, and your mitochondria stay younger longer. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine two 70-year-olds walking up a hill. One feels their legs burning, their chest tightening, and they have to stop halfway, out of breath and exhausted. The other keeps climbing steadily, their legs pumping, their breathing controlled, their energy stable. What's the difference? One has healthy mitochondria and clear circulation, the other doesn't. And the food that makes the difference? Not bone broth, but lentils and other circulation and mitochondria-protecting foods. There's even research to back this up. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that people who ate legumes regularly had significantly higher measures of vascular health, better blood flow, lower blood pressure, and improved cholesterol levels. Another study showed that diets rich in legumes improved mitochondrial function in muscle tissue, helping people stay more active and energetic as they aged. So when you add lentils to your meals, you're not just feeding your muscles protein. You're keeping your circulation highways clear. You're protecting your energy factories from breaking down. You're giving your body the tools to keep moving strong day after day, year after year. Now let S be clear. This doesn't mean you can't suddenly feel like you were 20 again. Aging is real, but it does mean you can slow the decline, preserve independence, and keep doing the things that matter most. Whether that's playing with grandchildren, gardening, traveling, or simply walking across the room with confidence, lentils give you the tools to hold on to those freedoms. And here's the truth that no one selling bone broth will tell you. Muscle health is not about sipping a trendy drink. It's about science. It's about circulation, mitochondria, protein, and inflammation, all working together. And lentils tick every single box. Bone broth ticks none. So the next time you see bone broth marketed as a miracle for your muscles, remember this. It might warm your hands, but it won't protect your future. The humble lentil, affordable, accessible, and backed by science, does exactly that. Bone broth has become a billion-dollar industry. You see it everywhere at grocery stores, health food shops, even sold online in fancy packaging with promises of stronger bones, healthier skin, and of course better muscles. It's marketed as an ancient healing elixir, a superfood passed down through generations, something almost sacred in its simplicity. But here's the truth most people don't know. Bone broth is mostly hype. Its reputation has been carefully crafted by marketing campaigns, not science. And when you dig into the actual numbers, the bubble bursts fast. Take protein, for example. If you read the back of a bone broth carton, you might find 7 grams of protein per cup. That sounds decent until you realize that the average adult needs between 60 and 80 grams per day to maintain muscle, especially after age 60 when muscle loss speeds up. That means you would have to drink nearly 10 cups of bone broth every single day just to cover your basic needs. That's not practical, that's not affordable, and it's certainly not delicious. Now, compare that to lentils. A single cup of cooked lentils provides about 18 grams of protein, nearly 3 times more than bone broth. And it's not just about quantity. Lentils deliver high-quality plant protein packed with the essential amino acids your muscles actually use to repair and grow. Bone broth doesn't even come close. But what about collagen? That's the other big claim you'll hear. Bone broth lovers will say, it's full of collagen and collagen builds muscle. But here's the inconvenient truth. When you drink collagen, your digestive system doesn't just send it straight to your muscles. Your stomach breaks collagen down into individual amino acids, the exact same way it breaks down any other protein, whether it comes from bone broth, lentils, or a piece of chicken. Once broken down, your body doesn't recognize it as collagen anymore. It just sees amino acids. And when it comes to amino acids, lentils provide far more of the ones your muscles actually crave, like leucine, which is the switch that turns muscle growth on. Even more, lentils contain compounds that bone broth completely lacks, like iron, which delivers oxygen to your muscles, magnesium, which fuels energy production inside your cells, and fiber, which supports gut health, lowers inflammation, and keeps your metabolism humming. Bone broth? Almost none of that. And let's not forget cost. A package of bone broth can set you back $7 to $10, and if you're drinking it daily, that adds up quickly. Lentils, on the other hand, cost pennies per serving. They store easily, they cook quickly, and they nourish your body in ways bone broth never could. So why do people keep falling for bone broth? Because the story is seductive. It feels ancient, comforting, traditional, but feeling isn't the same as science. If bone broth worked the way its marketing promised, we wouldn't see so many people struggling with sarcopenia, joint pain, and frailty while drinking it every day. The truth is simple. Bone broth warms your stomach, but lentils strengthen your body. And that's the pivot point seniors need to understand. Your health is too important to gamble on myths. You deserve real results. You deserve foods that work with your biology, not just your nostalgia. And if your goal is to protect your independence, your strength, and your mobility after 60, lentils are the powerhouse that delivers. Bone broth is just the story you've been sold. Let me share with you the story of a man named George. George is 72 years old, a retired teacher, a grandfather of 5, and someone who always prided himself on staying active. He wasn't trying to run marathons or lift heavy weights. He just wanted to keep up with his grandkids, work in his garden, and enjoy the simple routines of life. But slowly, George noticed changes. His arms weren't as strong as they used to be. Carrying groceries felt heavier than before. Getting out of a chair took more effort. And when he looked in the mirror, he saw his muscles shrinking, his frame thinner, and his confidence fading. His doctor told him what he already feared. Sarcopenia was setting in. George did what many people do. He started looking for solutions. That's when he stumbled on bone broth. Everyone seemed to be talking about it. Articles called it a miracle. His friends swore by it. So George started drinking 2 cups of bone broth every single day. At first he felt hopeful, but after months nothing changed. His muscle loss continued, his energy lagged, and he felt more discouraged than ever. One day, his daughter, a nutritionist, asked him a simple question. "Dad, how much protein are you actually getting from that bone broth?" Together, they sat down and did the math. He was getting maybe 15 grams a day from the broth, which wasn't even close to enough to protect his muscles. Then she introduced him to lentils. At first, George was skeptical. Lentils didn't sound exciting. They weren't trendy. They weren't being sold in glossy cartons at health stores. But he agreed to try. His daughter showed him simple recipes: lentil soup with garlic and spinach, a hearty lentil stew, even lentil salads tossed with olive oil and lemon. Suddenly, George was eating 20 grams of high-quality protein at lunch, another 20 at dinner, and his daily intake skyrocketed. Within weeks he noticed something. Getting out of a chair was easier. His arms felt stronger when lifting his grandkids. The heaviness he used to feel when climbing stairs began to lift. 6 months later, his doctor couldn't believe the difference. His muscle mass was improving. His balance was steadier. His energy was back. George had not only stopped the spiral of sarcopenia, he was reversing it. And here's the incredible part. He didn't start a new exercise routine, he didn't buy expensive powders, and he didn't rely on overhyped superfoods. He simply made one powerful switch. He traded bone broth for lentils. George's story isn't unique. It's a mirror of what science has already proven. Lentils are a true muscle food, a protector against frailty, a shield against sarcopenia. They provide what bone broth only pretends to offer: real nutrition that works. And think about it. What George gained wasn't just stronger muscles. He gained independence, he gained confidence. He gained the freedom to live life on his terms. That's the real victory. Because at the end of the day, muscle health isn't about looking fit. It's about staying strong enough to enjoy your life, hug your grandchildren, and hold on to your dignity as you age. This is why I'm telling you today, don't waste your time or money on empty promises. Bone broth may comfort you, but lentils will change you. And just like George, you might be surprised at how powerful such a simple, affordable, and accessible food can be. So here is the truth. For years, people have been told that bone broth is the secret to stronger joints, healthier skin, and even better muscles. But when we strip away the marketing, what remains is mostly water, collagen fragments too small to matter, and far less protein than your body truly needs. It comforts, yes, but it does not transform. And yet, sitting quietly on grocery shelves and in family kitchens for centuries, there has been a humble, inexpensive, overlooked powerhouse: lentils. They are the real builders of muscle, the true protectors against sarcopenia, the silent defenders of independence as we age. Science has revealed what tradition already knew. Lentils don't just feed you, they restore you. They provide complete protein, rich iron, muscle-healing amino acids, and fiber that stabilizes your metabolism and strengthens circulation. Think about what this means. Every spoonful of lentils isn't just food, it's protection. It's a message to your muscles. Stay strong, don't wither, don't give up. It's a signal to your body that decline is not inevitable, that strength can be regained, that energy can return. Picture yourself weeks from now, walking upstairs without holding the railing, carrying groceries with ease, feeling steady on your feet and confident in your body. Picture the freedom of knowing you are not fragile, that you are not destined for weakness, that you are actively building a shield against the slow creep of frailty. That vision is not a dream. It begins with what you choose to put on your plate. Bone broth may warm your hands, but lentils will power your muscles. Bone broth may soothe your mood, but lentils will protect your future. This is not hype, not a trend. It is science, and it is available to you right now. So the choice is simple. Continue with foods that promise much but deliver little, or embrace the food that silently, steadily, relentlessly builds you back up. Lentils are more than just a meal. They are your ally against sarcopenia, your partner in longevity, your quiet medicine hiding in plain sight. Don't wait. Tonight, tomorrow, the next day. Add lentils. Your future self will thank you. Your muscles will thank you. Your life will thank you. Because the real strength of aging gracefully isn't about what you give up. It is about what you choose to nourish. And when you choose lentils, you choose strength, vitality, and freedom. The path forward is in your hands, and it starts with a single bowl.